Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema here
Welcome.
on Fishbowl Radio in the Green Stream and showing simultaneously on Facebook Live on our page Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema. Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema is all about natural parenting, natural living, and a whole lot
A
extra.
whole lot.
And of course, we are your hosts, Lauren and Keema. Today's subject is all about breastfeeding. And our special guest today is Cookie Abamu of Mylk by Cookie.
Woo woo.
Oh wait, y'all can't hear me, see me waving.
Oh, we can
can,
see on
they
the
can.
camera.
Oh, okay.
And so we're going to be talking about breastfeeding, postpartum doulas. I mean, the whole nine. It's going to be a really, really great conversation.
Yes.
But before we get into it, we want to get into our weekly topic, our weekly segment, which is what's happening. If you have an opinion about the topic, feel free to call in at 214-431-5032 or add your thoughts in the comments on Facebook Live. So we posted this article on Crunchy Boutique as well as on our page Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema on Facebook. And it's a really astonishing article by the New York Times, and it's titled U.S. Opposition to Breastfeeding Resolution Stuns the World Health Officials. So
Did you hear this already? Have you heard about this? Okay. It's
Yeah.
a good one.
it is. This article was just published yesterday. I'm not sure when the actual meeting took place, but the United States as well as several other countries from around the world all came together to meet in Geneva for the United Nations affiliated World Health Assembly. So at the World Health Assembly, I mean, there are just several topics being discussed, several resolutions, things getting passed, agreements supposed to be made. And one of them was a resolution that nobody thought would have any trouble, going through. And it was regarding breastfeeding. And the resolution was based on, or is based on, decades of research. And it says that mother's milk is the healthiest for children, and countries should strive to limit the inaccurate or misleading marketing of breast milk substitutes. That's what the resolution was.
No big. It doesn't sound like a big deal
No,
at
it
all.
doesn't sound like a big
Shouldn't
deal.
be.
And everybody thought, oh, surely the United States, they're going to be right on. This is not
Yeah.
going to. The United States opposed it, absolutely opposed it, because of the formula companies and things like that. And they opposed it because of the language in the resolution. They, and the language that it featured said that the resolution was to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding.
Right.
So that language they wanted out of there, which is so crazy to me. And other countries, try to step in, and they were, saying, this resolution should pass, all of that. And in turn, the United States started basically threatening other countries.
Bullying.
Yeah. Ecuador stepped up because they were the ones that were introducing this resolution. And it says, as the article says, the Americans were blunt. If Ecuador refused to drop the resolution, Washington would unleash punishing trade measures and withdraw crucial military aid.
Isn't
So
that crazy?
It's so crazy. And because of that threat, Ecuador said, okay, let's just leave it alone then.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
yeah, and several other countries followed suit. Some of the poorer nations in Africa, Latin America backed off from the resolution because they said,
Right.
okay, we don't want these
We're already
negative
breastfeeding.
consequences.
They don't have formula, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, and
I mean,
they
they do, but,
they didn't want the negative consequence for
Right.
speaking up and saying, this is what we should stand behind. We should stand behind breastfeeding as being the healthiest option for children.
Right.
It's just so crazy.
It really is. And finally, Russia stepped in, and they were the ones that got it through. But it really is ridiculous where we are today. And I say this all the time, that our federal government does not. They do not have our best interests at heart.
They
No.
don't. They don't. And to even take it a step further, some American delegates suggested that the U.S. might cut its contribution to the World Health Organization.
Because of this.
So
But-
threatening to pull out money, threatening to pull out support, and all of that because of this resolution for
So
breastfeeding.
that's what it's all about, is a money game.
Exactly.
Basically. It's
Exactly.
a whole
Exactly.
money
Because the
thing.
formula industry has so much, so
Right.
they're really vocal, obviously, and
Right.
powerful. So
Right.
it's just quite disturbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
it really is. Unfortunately, though, it seems that while they were unsuccessful with that resolution, the United States, obviously the resolution was still able to be pushed through, luckily. However, the U.S. did prevent some other important things from happening. It says that, I'm sorry.
Give her a moment.
Of course they did.
I'm trying to. I know that you specifically read that sentence. If you
Well,
remember,
let's just say that they did get a couple little tweaks to it.
Yeah.
They did get a couple little tweaks passed through it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, the bottom line is that when it comes to breastfeeding, it really is going to be up to us
Right.
to really continue to champion it.
Yeah.
And to get moms to breastfeed and to
Right.
support moms who are breastfeeding
Yeah.
because, our government is not. That's not on their agenda. In fact, quite the opposite, sadly. So,
Yeah. So we are going to take a break here, and we will be back in a few minutes to continue our discussion with Cookie regarding breastfeeding.
Yay.
So we're going to take a short break, and just in case you don't remember from last week, we did have a couple copyright issues with music with Facebook Live. So unfortunately, we will not be able to play music during our breaks. The break should be silent, and let us know.
I can sing.
no, thank you. I'm sure you can sing beautifully, but
Yeah.
no, we'll pass on that.
So let us know if you are able to hear music, because again, you should not. So we will be back right after this break.
See you in a minute.
Yay.
Welcome back to Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema. We are here with Cookie Abamu. Cookie is the owner of Mylk by Cookie and a mother of 3. She is also a doula and a lactation counselor. Cookie is celebrating her 2nd year in business. Woo-hoo.
Yes.
So once again, we want to say welcome, Cookie.
Thank you.
Now, before we get into questions and let you introduce yourself and everything, we met Cookie before we opened or right
Like
immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was early.
But I met Lauren.
Yeah, at an event, at a birth
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
Oh, really?
At the Great Cloth Diaper Change.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
right. I was there too. Why didn't I meet her?
You wasn't with her.
I think you were looking at something else. I don't know.
You didn't come by the table.
But then you came by Crunchy Boutique shortly thereafter,
Yeah.
and we just love Cookie.
Mhm.
Oh my
We
God.
love Cookie. We love her cookies too, which she has the best name for the
Yeah.
business that she's in. So quite interesting. So it took some finagling to get her to agree to be on the show because she's so busy
I am not
all
that
the time.
busy. I just have anxiety.
No, she's really
No.
busy too. If you follow her on
Yeah, she's
social
everywhere.
media, she is everywhere. She makes me tired looking at her.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, but anyway, so again, welcome, Cookie. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And we want you to just start with just telling us a little bit about your business. Let's start there.
Ooh,
Tell us about Mylk by Cookie.
Mhm.
okay. Well, so Mylk by Cookie got started actually at a doula meeting. So it's a coffee break meeting in Oak Cliff,
Oh, okay.
ran by our birthing home. So she kind of started at a coffee place in Oak Cliff, and she lived. It got kind of big, so she's like, "Let me move." So I just kept looking at these doulas. I was like, "Okay." I was new in the doula world or what have you, so I was just like, I'm a Virgo, so I'm always like, "Okay, what's gonna make me different or what have you?" So I bake. I am a pastry chef.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, how can I bring it all together? And so I took cookies to that event, and of course they loved them.
Mhm.
No, were they lactation cookies?
Yeah,
at that-
they were
okay.
lactation cookies. And so they were like, "Oh yeah, you should bake and sell." And I was like, "That is not happening. I am not, gonna be a what you call it, like at church? What you call those? Like, oh, like have bake sales. That's what I wasn't gonna be. Yeah, I wasn't gonna be that girl having a bake sale.
Okay, no bake
So
sale.
no bake sale, no at the church,
Mhm.
But so I was like, I have to do something different. So I chose to be a stay-at-home mom. So I'm always trying to think of other creative things to do. So I was like, I went to the, it's every month. So the next month I had all month to think about what I was gonna do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do cookie dough. Nobody's doing cookie dough. And so I said, okay, I'm going to come up with cookie dough. So what are you going to do? Put them in a plastic bag? No, you can't have that. So I had like an extra $50. I don't even know where I got the $50. So I bought some containers without labels. And Lexi and Keisha's over donor doulas or whatever in Texas. So I took them to them with no labels because I didn't have enough to buy labels, ingredients and labels. No, I couldn't do it. So then it just kind of like went like, okay, we'll just buy these from you. How much you're going to charge? I don't know. It's like, I don't know what to charge. And so they just kind of helped me with that. And we got everything together. So that's really how it got started. It was just like a vision, like what's going to make me different. What am I going to bring to the table?
Right.
And then I got so into with the lactation cookies where I was noticing like, gosh, why is it so embarrassed to breastfeed? Like a woman of color, like we're covering up, and I was like, oh gosh, we lived when I had my baby, I was back and forth here in Nigeria, so it was no big deal to me, and I never thought about it until I got on the journey of the cookie dough, and it was so hard for me to sell to women of color, and I was like, why? Why aren't you even breastfeeding? I'm like, one to push it like the Mary Kay girl in the store, like every pregnant person I saw that was of color, are you breastfeeding? Girl, no, I'm not breastfeeding. And I'm
Wow.
like, why? Then I met up with Barbara. She did black breastfeeding here in Dallas a couple of years ago, and we teamed up, and we did Black Breastfeeding Week, which was awesome. But it was still like crazy how they didn't, know the knowledge of the benefits of breastfeeding, or how cheap it is to save money.
Right,
How much you save if you had to buy formula. And then I just started doing more research, and I was like, what? And so let me back. So yeah, and so after Black Breastfeeding Week, I was like, okay, what can I do? How can I get my certification? I do not have money to do it, because I was so passionate about it, because I just felt like.
No, you're speaking of lactation certification.
Lactation, okay. Yeah. So how can I get it? So then I went to WIC, and I was like, hey, what, can I volunteer? And so they start telling me the informations that I can get. And then I start wondering, what if WIC didn't give formula? What would we do?
Right.
Us as women of color.
Right.
If WIC, because, 75% of us are on WIC. So if WIC did not give us formula, because they give us formula with the case, and just gave us more fruit, more vegetables, more peanut butter and beans, or things to even help us produce more breast milk, what would we do? And I asked someone that question, and she says, we'll have a lot of sick babies.
Oh.
Because my question was, what if WIC didn't give us formula? They only gave you formula if your baby was sick or you were sick. Then what would you do? And she said, we'll have a lot of sick babies. So that means, what's going on in our minds? So that journey just like started me, like, made me kind of angry. I even stopped talking to that person because I was like, how crazy is that? Like, I'm not blaming WIC at all, because WIC is amazing. They give you the classes. They do. They teach you. They want you to breastfeed. WIC really do. But what if they just stop giving you the formula? What if, So that's how I got on the journey of being a lactation counselor and educator, and I got it through WIC.
Oh, okay.
I did. I got it through WIC. I had to do some things I didn't believe in through WIC, like get shots. I had to get shots because I had to do I'm still doing my volunteer work at Parkland. So in order for me to work in the hospital, I had to get shots. And I don't believe in shots.
Oh, wow.
I don't believe in vaccination. That's a whole nother conversation, but whatever. And I had to get it to work in the hospital. But it's so passionate, because even the lady at Parkland, she goes, as soon as you finish this certification, you are hired, because we have the hardest time with African Americans breastfeeding.
So what kind of differences have you seen? I mean, I know that your work makes a difference, but I would imagine it's quite rewarding what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any stories about that, or just what kind of differences have you seen now that you've been working there or helping out?
I think if you don't put such an expiration date on breastfeeding, if you just tell that mom, hey, if you can do it 48 hours, the first 48 hours, because that's the best milk or best vitamin or nutrients or shot, whatever, the best whatever for your baby, first 48 hours, then they're good to go, because then they're going to try.
So it's really if you kind of
like
get them,
milestones.
if you get them just thinking day by day, not
That's
I'm going to breastfeed for a year, but let me just get through day by day.
Day by day, the first 48 hours, it's like the show, first 48 hours. If you can figure it out in those 48 hours, then you're good to go. And quit lying to people and say breastfeeding does not hurt. It does hurt. It does. Like, people lie, like, and they say, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, it does. You tell them the truth. Yes, it's a little tugging, but you will get through
used to it.
You'll get used to it. It will be okay, and it'll, ease up a little bit. And also, I feel like if they know that more education about it, where that baby does not need 4 ounces of milk the first month, then I feel like they'll be okay, because they just feel like, oh, when I'm pumping,
getting
I'm
nothing.
only getting an ounce.
It's so funny. We've recently had somebody mentioning that, like, oh, there was just such a little bit that came out in the beginning. It's
That's
like
all you need.
yeah.
I mean, you just need like a little teaspoon, like a marble, size of milk. That's all your baby needs.
Now, you mentioned Nigeria a few minutes ago. Tell us about your ties there. I don't even think I've ever heard this story. I've never asked that before.
Oh,
but
okay.
but you know what I'm getting to after that. But I do want to let's back up to talk about. Okay.
So gosh, do I want to go? Okay, anyway, we won't go.
We just chatting.
So I have a background in Nigeria. So in the Caribbean islands. So that's a whole nother story. That's
or as my mother used to say, that's another Oprah Winfrey show.
Yeah, that is another Oprah Winfrey show. But that's like where my father is from, is the Caribbean. But I married into Nigerian a whole lot of times. But that's a Jerry Springer show.
Okay,
but,
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, so my I did IVF with my son. I have 3 kids, like we talked about. So I did IVF with my son, with his donor that's a Nigerian. And so I had my son, and it was just basically, I went through postpartum really, really bad. And so I would just like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go crazy or whatever. And so I just kind of started traveling. And that was just it. And then I met someone, and he was from Nigeria. I met him in Spain, and he was from Nigeria. So then it's like, what the heck? Pack your baby with a backpack, and we moved to Nigeria. So we had to stay 6 months in Nigeria, 6 months in Texas, 6 months in Nigeria, and back to Texas. So that's how I got to Nigeria. So yeah, with my baby on my back.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Nigeria because one of the first conversations we had, and this was obviously over a year ago now, but it stuck in my mind. Just the difference in mindsets regarding breastfeeding from one country to another. So now you can insert that story that you shared with us.
If you know me, I'm very passionate about life. Like, my friend told me yesterday, like, amazing. She's like, you say amazing like 100 times, because I just want everything to be amazing. So to go to Nigeria is such a rich country. It's so rich. Everyone there is pretty much genius, where that's like bad. It's not bad, but it's like bumping heads, so they cannot get along. So when
Wakanda.
So when I was in Nigeria, so the person that I was with, I told him I wanted to do something, because it's just so many babies or whatever that they won't even let get adopted, what have you. So to back up, so I just started educating myself with Nigeria and seeing the ins and outs. And it was so crazy when it's time for the kids to go to school. They ask, when your enrollment form, they ask, check yes or no, is baby still breastfeeding? At 5, like,
wow.
What? Is baby
Isn't that incredible?
Is baby still breastfeeding? You check yes or no, and if baby is still breastfeeding, mom comes up for lunch and breastfeed her baby.
That's incredible.
That's so.
There's no stigma attached or anything. Just
In fact, that's the norm, obviously.
Right. It's no big deal. You know, it's like if baby is still breastfeeding when it's time to go to school.
5-year-old baby.
5-year-old baby, yeah. If baby is still breastfeeding, you come and breastfeed baby, and you go back, on the break, and you go back about your way. It's no big deal.
And that's crazy, because Lauren is still breastfeeding August. He's 20 months. Am I right? 20 months. 20 months. And people, I've noticed that people have started to kind of like give it a little side eye, like, okay, when are you bringing this to a close?
Yeah.
No.
Family and friends ask the question, still? You're still breastfeeding?
Yeah.
I breastfed Jackson until he was 3.
Okay.
And my mom would just like creep out, like every time he would walk up and like start sucking my breast, she would just be like cringe, like.
And you said you breastfed till he was 3. Good for you.
He was 3, and she would just be like, oh my gosh, you're so, like, that's that's not normal at all. Like, why are you doing that? I was like, what is the big deal?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see a big deal until I came back here.
Oh, okay.
It was not a big deal. Jackson didn't think it was a big deal.
Now, let me ask you this also about Nigeria. It's the norm to breastfeed to 5 or beyond, I'm assuming.
Right.
But I'm assuming that also means that women aren't concerned with covering up like they are here, going into another room, or I posted a picture not too long ago on my social media of this so-called changing room, breastfeeding room at a school I was visiting. It was the bathroom.
Oh.
There was a sign on the bathroom stall basically saying you can breastfeed here.
Yeah.
No.
Like, really? That's
No.
the best you could do?
So you gotta sit on the toilet.
Yeah,
And breastfeed.
yeah.
Like, oh, okay,
It's
we're gonna take a
ridiculous.
dump. Like, how sanitize?
Yeah.
Like, would you sit and eat?
Yeah.
Do you eat on the toilet or what have you? Well,
Yeah.
if you're trying to escape your kids, I guess. You would. But other than that, would you just sit there and eat on the toilet? Like, that is so backwards. Like, I honestly love this country, but I am so. Okay, I ain't gonna say it because this on record.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
I
going
don't
to live
wanna
with
get
you
in trouble
forever.
forever. So don't,
It's
oh
never
my
going
gosh,
away.
yes, my son might run for president, so let me be quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is so backwards. Like, even that article you were sending, I was just over here. I couldn't even say anything. I was just like,
Yeah, when I read it last night, I really wanted to cry. It was just really sad
Yeah.
to me.
yeah,
It's just
because I mean, what are these made for? Like, why do we even have, and why are we even carrying around these things? Like,
yeah, here they've just been so not overly, they've been sexualized.
period.
Right.
Just-
right.
It's
But
ridiculous.
I do want to say something about breastfeeding because I have helped several women and those who cannot. And this is about Nigeria also. Let me also say that. It's like a lot of women cannot, for whatever reason, breastfeed.
Of course.
You know. So if you cannot, then that's when your sister come in and help you. And that's what happens in Nigeria. Like, say, for instance, if this mom absolutely cannot breastfeed, then there's a whole village that comes in support. And Nigeria is not like monkeys and trees or whatever.
No, of
It's
course
very beautiful. But when I say village, here comes her neighbor helper. Here comes, and that comes back to the postpartum help.
Now, I will say, though, that we actually experienced that very thing at Crunchy Boutique. And I know we got to take a break, but let me just say this really quick. So we had a mom, hopefully she's listening today, but we had a mom who was having difficulty breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And so we posted something on our social media pages saying, if you can, come on to Crunchy Boutique this time, this date, this time, and let's support this mom. And so the response was overwhelming, and it's still on our Facebook page. If anybody wants to see the conversation, it was in our group, Crunch Time. But they were talking about her needs and what she was going through. And that several women in that group said, "I have extra milk. I can give you some donor milk." So that is what you're describing, and that was an awesome thing to witness just in our little community. You know, we keep saying, "Well, we're not birth workers, and we're not really doing that kind of work." But it made me feel like, okay, we are making a contribution. That's another. I'm a crybaby anyway, but that's another one of those times where I really wanted to cry because everybody was saying, "Well, I've got extra milk. Do you need milk?" And in fact, I think she did get some donor milk, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So
just
it
a
was
really cool moment.
Yeah, it really was. But I know we got to take a break.
Yes, we got to take a short break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. And just a reminder, you should hear silence during this break. We'll be back.
Music.
Welcome back to Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema. We are here with Cookie Abamu of Mylk by Cookie, and we're just having a really interesting conversation,
Very
especially during the break.
So we're going to bring that into the
yes,
actual show.
Yes, about breastfeeding. And we started talking about donor milk a little bit during the break.
Yeah.
And how apparently there's like an underground milk market or underground, which is really crazy. People are getting milk on Craigslist and things like that. And we also talked about how African American milk is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So let's get. So what did you were starting to tell us about that?
It's $2.50
an ounce.
An ounce. Yeah. So you can get
compared to what?
$1.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it's more than twice the cost.
Yeah. On Craigslist, guys. No, don't go buy that milk. Don't go buy that milk.
Yeah.
Let's just see if you can find a neighbor, or like you guys said at Crunchy Boutique, reach out to your local stores, your friends, and see if they know someone that is an overproducer that can help you. There are women out there that can help you. If you cannot absolutely not breastfeed for whatever reason, try to reach out to your support group or a friend.
Just so we understand, though, it is illegal to
yeah,
sell
it's
milk.
illegal.
Oh, okay, but you can legally,
give
friend.
it.
Yeah, but girl, if you need to make some rent, go on and sell that milk. No, I'm just joking.
She's just joking.
Just joking.
This video will live forever.
Yeah, just a joke.
Yes, it is very illegal. Unless, you cannot sell your breast milk. You cannot sell your breast milk.
Other than to a legitimate, regulated
milk
bank.
Right, a milk bank or whatever.
Okay, let's talk about the milk bank.
Yeah.
How many are there in this DFW area, for instance?
I think it's like 3.
Okay.
North Dallas.
I know there's one in Fort Worth. Was it Mother's Milk?
Yeah, Mother's Milk. I think it's like 3.
Okay.
Milk Tree. So it's 3.
Okay. And I know a while back I went on their site just out of curiosity, and I guess it is very, very heavily regulated.
Yes.
They ask you everything but your bra size.
Yeah, they might ask you that too. Yeah. And you're gonna take blood. It's a lot to donate the milk,
which I would imagine would be a deterrent for somebody who is an overproducer, so to speak. You don't even want to go through all of that.
I wouldn't go through it. I would just post in a group. Like if I'm an overproducer, I'll just give my background and maybe a couple of reference or something like that. Yeah. And just be like, hey, I overproduce and I have this in the freezer or what have you. And if you are doing that, so here's a couple of tips. Please label like newborn milk, the stages of your milk. So you won't give a newborn some 12-month milk because it's different benefits and different.
No, I know we've had this conversation many times on the show. We've talked about breastfeeding quite a bit, but since we're on that subject, let's talk about the different stages and what the breast milk goes through at the different stages and that kind of thing, and why that is so important to label it because of what's in it.
Right. So the newborn milk is the most highest milk because it has the good colostrum. Of course, that's the beginning of it. But it's just the has the most vitamins and all the nutrients in it. And then as baby get older, it starts standing out. So it's not as high as nutrients. It's still nutrients, but it's not as
concentrated.
High. Yeah, it's a little bit more concentrated than the older milk. Older the baby gets.
Right.
And so yeah.
Yeah, I know Lauren has talked a lot about seeing her breast milk change.
Thin out a little.
But yeah, especially now being pregnant, it's made the change back to the colostrum.
Yeah. Thicker.
So well, if I hand express, it's like clear. Yeah. And that's how it was when my son was a newborn. It wasn't really it was like translucent almost, and it's back to being that way.
No, you had an interesting story about August and how you thought he was kind of disinterested in breastfeeding for a minute, but now.
Yeah, thinking back now, I think that it was that transition that he wasn't really liking.
Right.
But once it completed the transition, he was like, "Oh, okay, this is
we're
kind of
back."
good. This is I like
ice
this."
cream.
Yeah.
Like,
But he did
Hot
kind of,
chocolate.
yeah, it did seem like he was kind of comfort nursing for a
Right.
couple weeks. And I was like, am I even producing milk? I would try to hand express. I would get nothing. So I wasn't really sure. And then all of a sudden, just, it was like my milk came in all over again.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's loving it. Clearly, I can tell he's loving it now.
He's back. Like,
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going back to the conversation about the milk bank. So, do they donate the milk? Do they
You
sell
do.
the milk?
You donate
The,
it.
no, the milk bank itself. Do they?
Some sell and some donate. I know the milk tree. I would have to look up to make sure I'm doing that. The milk tree is like a lot for like mothers with cancer or any kind of illness or whatever like that. They really donate for that. But then I've heard there's some that sell the milk bank. They sell it because they say they use the profit to keep the what is it? The building and the machines and all that. So that's why they sell it.
Oh, okay. Let's talk some about some of the other things that you're doing. I said in the beginning that you are incredibly busy, and even busier than I knew. You don't post I thought you posted everything. You
No,
don't.
I don't. Sometimes
doesn't.
I don't. I'm
So
so bad.
you are doing a lot. We were talking a little bit before the show. So let's talk about the home that you
Volunteer
where you volunteer.
Oh my gosh. So that's the amazing thing. I feel like that's my perfect purpose. Even like going back to Nigeria, I was so passionate about women and babies. That's my big passion, and I think that's my purpose in life or my ministry. I don't know. I don't
It
even
sounds
know.
like it.
Yeah, I get so passionate about it. So these women are just women that's lost their way. I mean, I lost my way in between a marriage or what have you. And it's like, where do you go? You know, I just thank God that I have a mom. I had somewhere to go. But, yeah, so you lose your way sometime in life. And so these women have lost their way for many reasons, drugs, alcohol, or, you know, sex or whatever the reason, been incarcerated and getting out and nowhere to go, no family, because you could be incarcerated in Texas and that's where they're going to just land you, and you could be from California or whatever the case may be. So now you're in Texas with nobody. So that's what this home is, and it's called In Your Shoes. And that was the perfect name for me because I've never been on drugs or abuse with alcohol. Well, I do drink wine every night, but abuse
So
with
funny.
alcohol or anything like that, or but I have been in their shoes, and I'm so passionate about it because I'm not going to sugarcoat with these girls.
Yes.
I mean, I can see that you're throwing game, you know, and that's like, you know, you have to keep it real with them at this home, and that's why I'm so passionate. I look at them as like my daughters, my nieces, or whatever the case may be. Right now it's like 6 in the home, and 3 babies. And so I had the liberty, it was 4, and I was one of their doulas. And so I had the liberty of being the doula to one of the babies that was born a couple of months ago. She had her baby early, and it wasn't time. But it was so crazy. We had talked the day before about getting prepared. You know, it's just so crazy how God works. It's like we talked about getting prepared and what if this happens, and how does it happen? How is it going to look? And it was so weird, just like how we were going to get this seed to plant and grow. And so she ended up having the baby early. And they called me in the middle of the night, and I was so tired. And I went, and I was just like, she's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So that morning at the hospital, they just like said, yeah, we're about to do it. I said, no, she needs to make this choice because she's the one that has to deal with this. Stop. You know, let's stop. And the doctor is like, no, we're going to give her Caesar. And I just had to be like her voice of reason and be like, stop. Because she's crying at this point. Stop. Let her make this decision. if she can try to give this baby natural, or explain to her why you're giving her this C-section. Yeah, by this time we're like back and forth following, and so then I've overstepped my doula, and now I'm her mom. Now I'm her mom. And
sounds like she needed a mom.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I'm her mother, so tell her why she's doing this. So they explained to her why she's doing it, or why it needed to be done, and it did need to be done. But I just wanted you to take 1 minute and explain to her, and that's what happened if we don't have someone there to support us.
So this is the work that you're able to do through this home.
That's
wonderful.
That is.
Yeah, so she had baby, and the amazing thing about that, they had donor milk, because she was like really out of it. She was on drugs before, of course, so it was she was out of it in the pain, and she was a trooper. She did not want any more drugs in her body because she knew the addiction that she had. She was simply amazing. So I cried for many weeks about that. But the great thing is they had donor milk at this hospital, and they gave that baby donor milk like the whole time. They just had it sitting there.
Now, is that usual at a hospital?
No.
Okay, because I know we have a customer whose baby was born premature, like 4 months premature, and she said that they brought donor milk. It was a hospital here in Arlington, but that's not the norm. Then.
No,
most hospitals don't.
They're trying to, but most of them still don't. Yeah.
Most of them still do the formula. Or nothing.
Or most of them, like I was a doula for somebody else, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna give baby formula, and she could breastfeed. We're gonna give baby formula because his blood sugar is low." Oh. Okay.
No, just to wrap up the story with the young lady that you're speaking of, I hope there's a happy ending. That she was
very happy. Baby
able
is home.
To breastfeed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's an overproducer. Yeah, call me. I can give you some of her milk. She is, and she was so worried about that. She is overproducing. Like, oh my God, she is so amazing. Like, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're jumping around a little bit. We're going to have to take a break in about 3 minutes. But before we do, another amazing thing that you do, because, again, I follow you on social media, is that you remind women the first of every month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the breast
check
exam.
yourself. Yeah. I just say check yourself because, you just need to. I've seen my aunts. My breast is so important to me. I don't even wear deodorant. That's how important the breasts are to me. I see.
Now, is the crystal deodorant? Is that okay?
I
that's
do
okay?
crystal.
Okay, that's what I do too.
I do. Yeah. Like, yeah.
It holds.
It holds.
Every now and then.
Every now and then it gets a little, but then I just
something.
like, okay, let me get some orange pills and rub under there.
And I actually we're off topic completely now, but
that's
I also
okay.
made some deodorant with Everclear.
What's
The
Everclear?
Like the liquor.
It's vodka.
It's
Is
the
it vodka?
Drink a little bit and make a little deodorant.
But
That's
I swear, that one, that's like an on the spot kind of.
Yeah.
Like if you're
so you put it in a spray bottle.
If your sea salt deodorant fails you and you're out and you need to freshen up a little bit.
Shut up!
You
need to
I
sell
put essential
that.
oils in it too. But you could spray that, and I'm telling you, it gives you
it's like Everclear, and you put like lemon oil in it, or lemon juice.
That is so
citrus.
crazy because I put orange pills underneath my armpit. Like if it's just too raw, it's like, okay, let me eat an orange
like
and put. So you need to sell that. Like, okay, I might be
you
selling some deodorant. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, that would be amazing. So every first of the month I do check yourself. And that just means, like, just go in the bathroom, even in the car, raise your arms, just check yourself for knots, discolor, whatever it is. Don't take it for granted,
And you need to know a good comment on that is just actually knowing your own breasts.
Yes.
Because everybody's breasts and if you do that regularly, you get to know your breasts.
You get to know your breasts.
I know for me.
Like a relationship.
Yeah, when I was much younger, I still do actually, I discovered I had very, very lumpy breasts.
Yeah.
And so I was always afraid, like, oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, what is this? But now I know my breasts are just naturally lumpy.
Yeah.
So now I'm feeling for new lumps.
A knot. Yeah, like knots.
Yes.
Because you do, like, I have fatty tissue or whatever, but it's like knots or anything color, and I'm not breastfeeding. I haven't fed in 14, well, yeah, in years. So I know if even if I squeeze my breast, my nipple, or in something coming out liquid, then there's a problem. You know, that should not be happening. So maybe I can go get checked. So the great thing is you can prevent this from happening. It's nothing serious. Like, we shouldn't always think of the first time, oh my god, oh my god. It's just a little checkup. Like,
Yes.
okay, go check yourself, see, oh, is it a new dark spot there, or what have you. And I always remember on the first of the month, because that's when I have to pay bills. That's when everything is important. Everything is due. So why not my health
Right.
is due on the first of the month?
Yeah, that's a really great tip. But we need to take a short break here. But before we do, we'd like to give a shout out to Birth Texas. Birth Texas is a 501c3 nonprofit organization empowering expecting moms and birth workers through education and community events. Join them on July 21st right here in Arlington at the Arlington Convention Center as they welcome Shafia Monroe for a fun-filled event on childbirth and parenting. Check out their Facebook group for more information or visit birthtexas.org to access their online guide of evidence-based birth providers and childbirth and parenting events throughout the Metroplex. Empower yourself with Birth Texas. Join Tarrant County Breastfeeding Coalition at the 7th Annual Family Expo and Big Latch-On coming up Saturday, August 4th at the Fort Worth Botanic Garden. This free event includes vendors and a silent auction featuring goodies and gifts for all ages, as well as the Big Latch-On, which is a worldwide event where participants gather to breastfeed together and support and celebrate one another. The Family Expo is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with the Big Latch-On happening at 10:30 a.m. For more information, visit tarrantbfcoalition.com. We also want to mention All in the Nest doulas. When it's time to grow your family, you only want the best in caregivers. All across the DFW area, families like yours are choosing All in the Nest doulas for support throughout the childbirth process. This mother and daughter team at All in the Nest doulas sets the highest standard in loving care. If you'd like to know more about the services offered by All in the Nest doulas, including their exciting new childbirth education classes and how they can help you before, during, and after your delivery, be sure to check out their website at allinthenestdoulas.com or visit their Facebook page. And now we will take that break, and we'll be right back with Cookie in about 7 minutes.
There will be silence. Welcome back to Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Keema. We are here again, still with Cookie Abamu. Now we left off. We were talking about the milk bank. We were talking about donating milk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble hearing. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, I can usually hear myself. I can't hear myself. I know you guys don't care about that out there. So
I can hear
you.
I
Okay.
can hear you. I can hear you also.
All right. Anyway, so we wanted to move on, though. We didn't talk about your name, Mylk by Cookie, and how you came up with that name.
With milk with a Y.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So most definitely, once again, it kind of happened at the birth meeting with the dough with no labels or nothing like that. So it was Mylk by Cookie, of course. I'm Cookie, so it was going to be Mylk by Cookie.
Mhm.
But then I thought about it. I was like, okay, I have to do something different. It just can't be spelled milk. So it was with a Y because it's all about you. So while you.
Okay.
So it's all about mom,
Mhm.
Everything like her health, her make sure she got the right nutrients with feeding baby. So that's why it's a Y. It's all about you. Like everything is about you.
Mhm.
Just know you, self-care with you, and if you're okay, then everybody else will be okay.
Mhm.
So, and that was my life lesson, like going through postpartum. Like it's all about me. It's all about you. Then everybody else will be okay.
Mhm.
And what's in the cookies?
So it's basic. It's a basic recipe. Seriously, it's brewer cheese, chai. Well, everybody else don't put chai seeds in there. I do. So it's brewer cheese, chai seeds, flax seeds, and yeah, that's it. So, but my secret is a blend of coconut, and that's because of the Allen. The first thing your grandmother and the Allens to give you when you breastfeed is coconut milk or coconut water, and that helps produce loads of breast milk, and it also heals during that time. So I have a blend of coconut that I use.
Oh, okay.
So that's my secret, is a blend of coconut and not just some coconut off the street. So don't try to go do it. But
it's a secret.
It's a secret, and I always tell people, and this sounds really corny. They're like, "So what's your secret?" Like, for real, I pour my love, and y'all might get some teardrops in there because it gets hard making this dough, and it's like, this is my child. It's like a child. So for real, the secret is love, and I know everybody says that, but I have taken away from my child for Mylk by Cookie.
Do you do this alone?
I do it alone.
Wow.
I do it. I wake up at 5:00 and go to a commercial kitchen twice a week, $25 an hour, twice a week. And then I try to, my son goes to early college, so I make it by home by 8:45 to get him up and out the door to go to school. So that's how it goes. I'm doing it in a commercial kitchen by myself, and I bring the dough back and I put the labels on there. And I was donated a freezer because I was paying for the storage at the commercial kitchen. So Laughing Willow, she was the very first person to sell my dough. She donated me a freezer to keep the dough or whatever. And so, so I keep the dough, but now that I'm shipping, the dough is out. It's like it gets out. It's like
how do you ship it? Because
crazy.
It's frozen, right?
It's
but
bootleg. Ask anybody that's ever got some. Ask anybody that's ever got some cookie dough shipped. It is so bootleg, because I just cannot pay for that. I mean, I would have to charge
that's so funny.
$60 to try
So do you ship it in dry ice or?
No, I would charge $60 to try to ship in dry ice and foam or whatever. I am not HelloFresh. I can't. It's just me, guys. It's just me. I honestly do those little ice chest things. You get it wrapped tape with is bootleg.
But on the receiving end, it's still frozen when they get it.
It's still frozen when they get it.
That's all that matters.
They still using it,
and the cookies still come out delicious.
Yeah. And they use,
So what do you use to sweeten the cookies or sweeten the dough?
It's a part of the coconut
Okay.
blend. Yeah.
So that's secret too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it refined sugar? Let me just ask that. Does
that?
it have just regular sugar in it?
No, it's
Okay.
It's a blend.
Okay.
It is a blend of coconut, so that means it's coconut sugar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We only asked that because we have. I'm saying let me speak for myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've given up sugar.
Yeah.
I stopped eating refined sugar February of 2017. So
Yeah.
I read the labels of everything because sugar is in everything. But I do still use honey. I use syrup.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
actually just recently bought coconut sugar. And I think you used it for your recipe. No, you used it for something recently. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Now
So
the
that's-
brownies do have sugar in it.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
brownies, because that cocoa, and that was trial and error also with the brownie mix, because the coconut sugar was not, I had some feedback on that. Like, this is not it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I did use
Regular sugar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, regular sugar for it. But the brownie is gluten free because it doesn't have oatmeal in it. So you get whichever one you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and you may have said this already, and I may have missed it. If so, I apologize. The breast milk producing ingredient in the brownies primarily is you still put the chia seeds and flax seeds in that
everything is
too?
still in there.
Okay.
It's just
still have
no
a
oatmeal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And you make it with coconut oil, so that's the recipe. So you still getting like that coconut oil in there. So you make it with coconut and water that you add together at home yourself.
That's all you have to add is coconut oil and water.
Yeah. And I've had I had one mom, and she just posted that she made up the brownies, and she cut them into squares and put them in the freezer, and she was making her smoothies with that in the morning. She would make a milkshake like out of coconut milk and the brownies, frozen brownie square. And she made a milkshake, and she said that her breast was so engorged that I was like, oh.
Okay, so that's what I want to talk about too. Talk about what kind of stories have you heard? How is this really changing things? Are lactation
like
cookies
if it really
more,
works?
Yeah, is it more of a placebo where it's like all in your mind, or are there really, what kind of information have you gathered that proves that? And I'm not doubting it at all. I'm just
most
because
definitely.
I know people swear by it.
Yeah.
First,
By the way, I said I wasn't going to jump on you,
what I do?
but I'm about to jump on you.
Girl, why you got to do this here? You can do this off the air.
Okay,
Hold
you
on.
already know what I'm going to say.
No, I don't.
When we
Ooh, is
opened
this Oprah?
when we opened Crunchy Boutique, we
Yeah.
actually were carrying Mylk by Cookies.
And I told you. Okay, wait, guys. If you know me and if you follow me, you know I have anxiety. Driving from Dallas to Arlington, ask Jackson. That's why
that's her
just said,
son.
yeah, he just said, breathe, Mom, breathe. Because he knows that anxiety is 10.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to figure out a way that we can carry your cookies again, because we do get calls and we get comments and people asking about your cookies, because you need to carry them in this area. They need to be in this area.
It's like no one has it out here. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
sorry.
So we'll now that I put you on the spot,
I know.
anybody that's watching, listening, you can expect to be
They're
able
gonna
to
email
buy
me. They're gonna email me.
Mylk by Cookie at Crunchy Boutique
Soon.
soon and very
coming
soon.
soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon. But what's next? We were talking about the differences and the improvement in milk supply.
Like our people, on Instagram, you see a lot of like evidence pictures, like, I had this, and then my milk,
Actually, I did it. I did the first test with, because of course I'm not breastfeeding, so therefore I don't have a baby to represent my product. You know what I'm saying? So I gave it to a mom, and one that's very honest with me. She would be like, "Girl, no," or "Yeah." And I gave it to her, and she said the same thing. She's like, "Oh, MG," like she woke up the next morning like her breast was engorged. And I do hear that, but I do say that every mom is is different.
Right.
Everybody's body is different. This
Mhm.
cookie dough, I'm not just trying to sell some cookie dough. I'm just
Right.
trying to get you to
You want
breastfeed
results.
and feed your baby. This cookie dough might work for you, and it might not work for her. But my goal is to find something to work. So I give advice. Like, before you even buy the dough, if you've ever DM'd me, I will tell you, before you even buy this dough, are you drinking enough water? Because that's the key.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I'm not producing well, you're taking out. Breastfeeding is like running a 7-mile marathon or whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like running a marathon or what have you. It takes a lot out of you. So if you're not putting it back in, it's not going to work. So don't buy my cookie dough and then go and put something bad because you're not putting in the work.
Right.
Drinking
Right.
enough water. That's number one. You have to drink water. And number two is I give advice about coconut water. Coconut water works. Like, do a little research of, because breastfeeding is frowned in here in America. So go a little farther, travel a little bit on the internet and see what they're doing in other countries that are working for women
Right.
who are producing
That's actually a good idea.
more.
Yes, it is.
Explore, and that's what I do. And Brigitte works in India, Africa, all those countries.
Let's talk about fenugreek.
I don't use fenugreek.
I know.
You
but
know?
why? No, I know. You said.
Oh,
you
okay.
said what you did use.
Oh,
And
okay.
I know there's controversy
Ooh,
about.
you be listening. I don't be listening.
I know
Okay.
there's controversy about
Fenugreek.
fenugreek.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, if it works for you, it works for you. You know, I'm not against it. I know fenugreek. I've had several moms that use fenugreek. They use the oil. They put it in whatever their food or whatever, and it works for them. And fenugreek is very popular in India, and a lot of Indian women use fenugreek. But for me, as an African American woman, I do very much research because I do have hypothyroid. So I'm not about to put anything that could make your thyroid levels go to another level.
yeah.
You know, so those are the benefits. That's why I don't use it. You know, I'm not going to do it to you. That's just like if I don't agree with something, I'm not going to give it to you, you know. But if you want to use it, then use it. It's you. It's your body.
Yeah.
But me, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to put it in my products because I don't believe, I don't want to benefit something and then damage something
Right.
else.
Right.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't talked much about your postpartum. Are you being a postpartum doula?
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we keep adding to the list of things.
Yeah,
the long,
yeah,
long
yeah.
list of things that you do.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Tell us about.
So it's a little weird because on this journey of healing, from having Jackson, so I was on the journey of healing, and that means I had to heal myself, and that means finding out a whole lot of stuff, because I'm one that I wouldn't open up to a counselor or anything like that. So, because I mean, I don't know. But so that means I had to heal myself. So I do Reiki. I do a lot of meditation. And so then it got me on.
You said you do Reiki? What is that?
So it's energy work.
Oh, okay.
So
What does that
we're
mean?
going to open up a whole nother door.
Okay.
So it's just energy work. It's just tuning in your chakras and all that stuff. And it's just, yeah, I believe in energy. I believe in God, but I believe in energy. Like if I'm not feeling your energy, then I don't know. I just don't feel it or what have you. And it's good and it's bad. Because I take in a lot of energy. I take in a lot of people energy. You can be in the grocery store and I just feel your energy and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I have to, you know, go talk to her or something because that's just, yeah. But anyway, so that brought me on the journey of like, what kind of doula would I be? Because I cannot, and it's just me, and it just go back to being a birth doula. That's what I started out being, a birth doula on this whole thing. I started out, I'm going to be a birth doula, and I'm going to charge $1,500 to be a birth doula. There is no way I can charge $1,500. Me.
Right.
Thumbs up to those who do. I wish, and I wouldn't be in a predicament. I would if I did do it, because it's a lot of time in doula work. It's a whole, and you need to get paid for it.
Yes.
But for as me, I am your neighbor, and that's the doula that I do. I do charge for postpartum work because I do take in a lot of energy and a lot of healing, and that's a little different because I just don't stop at the end of the day when you pay me for your 2 hours. I am there for you as a postpartum doula. So that means I kind of come in, and I'm not a babysitter. So I'm not about to babysit your baby while you're resting.
Right.
My thing is to heal you so you can take care of your baby.
Okay.
So I'm not a babysitter. I'm not a nanny at all. So with my postpartum work is I'm here to heal you, help you heal, and take care, be the best for your family. And that means if I have to come in and cook dinners for you while you rest in between breastfeeding your baby, then that's what I do to make sure you get in the shower or the tub or what have you, and just come in. Yeah.
And but you don't really advertise that.
I don't
really. So it's just word of mouth.
It's
just people that
mouth.
know you. Just okay.
Yeah.
Because
I don't advertise
primarily it's the cookies and the brownies.
That's the cookies.
So what's next? Are you what else? What's next on the agenda from Mylk by Cookie? What other lactation products?
Oh my gosh, I dream of stuff and then I just scratch it off the list because I'll just start dreaming. So right now I'm just gonna do the I don't know what's next. I can't even say what's next. Right now, I'm just doing the brownies and the cookies. And like we talked about, the donor milk, I would love to have a whole center where you just come and pick up your milk and educate yourself.
Awesome.
Educate yourself on breastfeeding and not put so much pressure on it. Let's just do the first 48 hours. And educating your parents, your support group, because they're the ones that's in your ears and telling you not. So I would love a center where they can donate the milk. Come and bring milk. You bring it and pick it up. I don't know how that would look, but I would love that milk with a Y.
Yeah.
Trademark.
So how about women who are formula feeding? Would eating your cookies or your brownies, would that
help them to maybe relactate it?
So that's a really good question because I get that all the time, at least once a week, and I don't know, but you can try. And you can try all these other steps that I'm about to give you to what is it called, Lauren?
Relactate.
Yeah, thank you. Your milk to reproduce your milk, because you could have had surgery and that's probably why you stopped, or a different medicine, that's why you stopped. So the first thing I would just tell you to do, let's just try to see what you're eating. Let's do some foods that boost your milk or your body, and start latching that baby back. Start just, even if you don't see any milk there, just put him or her on the boob so your breast can be like, okay, I need to be used. Now I can tell you one person in California has bought my cookies, and they had, now this is a true story. She bought my cookies. I'm trying to get the story right. She bought the cookies. They adopted a newborn baby. She bought the cookies, and she did what I told her to do. Like, she did the research to the 10 to breastfeed her baby, and she did.
Oh, wow.
She's still breastfeeding.
She's
still breastfeeding.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
the
and
body
I didn't
is just
think
something else. The human
yeah,
body
I didn't
is
even know
amazing.
that could happen. I just told her to try.
Yeah, I've heard stories like that. That's
I was
really
like,
something.
that is mad crazy. So they adopt this baby, and she's breastfeeding, and so yeah.
And on the other hand, if you're not lactating, you can just eat the cookies like me
because they
are good.
They are really
and
good.
I
They
can't wait
have
to try the brownies.
yes, and they have flat seeds in them, so it's really good for you. It's good for your
Mhm.
digestive system. My son eats them. He is not lactating. My daughters eat them, and they're not.
It's so
But,
funny. That's what men always think.
oh
when we have-
yeah, and they're
Uh-huh.
the main ones that eat them up after the moms cook them.
Yeah.
Like I get that. Like I need to buy another container because he sat here and ate my cookies up. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now your lactation counseling counselor,
Yeah.
your lactation counseling work.
yeah,
I know you talked about wanting to open something where women can come in and they can get the help that they need and that kind of thing. But in the meantime, you're just doing kind of one-on-one or
I do one-on-one when you call me. I'll do it because here's again, guys. I mean, this hurts my feelings. My support is not in Texas. It's not.
Mm.
I wouldn't make it. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
My support is absolutely not here. It wasn't until I started shipping that things start opening, and
Wow.
and that's a gift. And I mean, and I don't even know why, you know, but my support is not here. So I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of calls. And so to say this, I don't have to come to your house.
Mm-hmm.
We can have a one-on-one chat. We can, I can DM you.
We actually had somebody, now that you said that, I remember some months ago. Do you remember that a lady needed to speak with a lactation counselor or consultant? She was having some
Oh
issues.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
came in, right?
I
Or
believe-
she called. Maybe she called. I don't
Uh-huh.
remember. But we referred her to you, and
Oh.
you. I don't know if you remember this, but you just willingly, openly, happily
Yeah.
said, "Oh, absolutely, I'll call her." And I remember that you did call her
Yeah.
and talk. Sometimes people just
I don't
need
return
somebody.
emails, but I do return
No,
calls.
she doesn't. No, don't email her because she won't even read the email. I'm sorry, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I do
Oh.
return calls, though. I do.
But I do remember that it had a happy
Mhm.
ending, and a lot of
Mhm.
times people just need someone to talk to. They just
Right.
need to know they're not crazy.
Right.
Or it could be like you said earlier, they don't have support within their family or their
Right.
circle,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and they just need to talk to somebody that says you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Um,
can. I mean, like, hey, just do it. I mean, don't. That's just like with me. If I would have listened to everybody with this cookie dough, I'm not even there yet. I can't even imagine what God has planned for me. I get so nervous sometimes, and then I start blocking my blessings because then I won't get up. Then I play with the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, oh, can I really do this? You know? And so I'll block my blessings because I won't do it because I know he has something major with this. And I'm like, oh man, I am so afraid. So I feel what moms are feeling. Like they're so afraid. Like, what if I mess up breastfeeding?
Mm-hmm.
Or what if I mess up? Just let me give him a bottle. What if I'm not feeding enough? What if I'm
Mhm.
not? It's all that what if.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Mhm.
Just
At
do
what-
it day by day.
At what point do you, as a lactation counselor, suggest to a mom that they should supplement with formula, or does that ever happen? Has that ever happened?
I don't. I don't. I honestly don't. I don't.
Because there's options for donor milk, and so if
there's
they, right.
and I'll call I'll call around for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even with in Miami, I have some women in Miami, and they're my biggest supporter. Miami is my biggest supporter. It's so
How did
crazy.
that happen? Do you
One
know-
person, and that was Narissa.
That's cool.
Yeah, her name is Narissa.
Shout out to Narissa.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Narissa.
Mhm.
That one person bought my cookie dough, and she just started
Word of mouth.
word of
Yeah.
mouth. It was crazy. But then, like, say for instance, I will call like Rolanda, somebody, I don't know, and she DM me like, hey, it's getting hard for me, and then I'll call like, hey Narissa, do you know someone that lives like in whatever city in Miami that is breastfeeding that can help
Mhm.
this mom or what have you, and she'll be like, yeah, or the word to get out, like I'll put a post out, like say for instance, and this is a real story also, I put a post out about this baby, and she did one answer, and she did her whole story on Instagram, and of course I cried, and I'm probably gonna tear up to think about her. She had her baby was like 1 pound.
Oh wow.
And she lives in New York, and she was breastfeeding, and she has a 2-year-old, and so she had a C-section. She was running herself crazy, and so then the breast milk just kind of like stopped the breastfeeding. Like we're sending her dough, she's doing everything she can do, and so then I called someone else, and I DM'd somebody else in New York, and I'm thinking like, okay, like how far are you? And she's like, girl, that's like almost an hour and a half on the train, trying to get her this milk. I don't know if this is gonna happen. But anyway, they got together. This girl was taking the milk herself, because if she couldn't reach up with the mom, she took the milk herself to the hospital for the, like amazing. So it's like, and that's why I tear up, like, yeah, I could be out there doing much more, but I feel like God has this purpose and connect for me to do what I'm doing now through social media, because without it, I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I could not do this work. I could, because Texas is not supporting me the way everybody else is.
What do you have planned for Black Breastfeeding Week?
Ooh, well, I do have, and that's so hard, and I'm so torn about that also, because I do want to do a retreat, and it's on my heart, and I have it all planned out, but then it's like, they gonna come or what? It's so iffy. It's like, oh my gosh. But I will have faith, and I will believe. So I am planning a mini retreat.
Okay. When and where?
So I'm still planning it. So, but I do plan on having it at the Lake Ray Hubbard.
Okay.
At the Hilton. So I just plan on having a room, us getting on that little boat and just getting some air, not making it so, okay, classy, I don't know.
Do you know what day?
Yeah, the 25th.
Oh,
Did I say that?
That's the Saturday, right?
Yeah, that's the Saturday. So it'll be a minute.
That's the day of the Big Latch On.
Big Latch On for what?
Not the Big Latch On, I'm sorry. That's the date of our first event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like...
the Big Latch On is on the 4th.
It's on the 4th, yeah. That's all it's like.
We're having a Black Breastfeeding Week forum and luncheon on that day. I'm getting my days all mixed up.
Yeah.
But what time,
y'all are
what
doing
time
a lot. Y'all doing a lot.
We are. What time is your event?
So I want to do check-in at like 11 o'clock, and then like check out like about 6 o'clock or what have you. And those who want to stay can stay, and those who don't.
We might have to come afterward.
Yeah. Those who, for the ferry or what have you. That's my plan, guys. Don't hold it to me.
Okay, we'll have to get that information so we can post. We can post about your event too. We want people to come to the events at Crunchy Boutique, of course.
Yes.
But more importantly, we want people to go to an event anywhere.
Right.
If they can't come to Arlington, don't want to come to Arlington or whatever, we just want people to participate. Whether it's the Big Latch On, whether it's during Black Breastfeeding Week, whatever events are going on in August, wherever you are, find something.
Yeah, and not only that, I wish maybe I can post about this too, because I know. The lady who did Black Breastfeeding Week, I didn't see that in the information, but maybe all of us.
Kimberly Sellers, that's her name, right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, she's amazing, so great. Maybe all of us at the same time, like even posting at the same time, just post pictures at 11 o'clock, latching on, not stealing from Latch On now, hold on y'all. But at the same time, us doing something, if it's nothing but a post, a hashtag at 11 o'clock or something that we can just do, that we're just doing it all together, like no matter where you are.
Well, whatever you come up with, be sure to let us in, let us know, we're in on everything. Fortunately, we've had the opportunity. This will be our second year, and we participated in events. We hosted events last year that were really well attended, well received, and a lot of fun. So we're really looking forward. We added a new one, which you had said you're coming to,
That's during the week.
Yes.
Don't try it.
Yes.
Don't try it. You tried me.
I'm
Yes,
sorry. I'm just giving you a hard time. You know I love you.
But you know, you get through me with DM. I just can't check emails.
Okay.
I have like 3 million emails. But I bet I check them orders if y'all email.
I know that's right. It's time for us to take a break. We will be back with Cookie very shortly.
Yay.
Welcome back to Natural Parenting Talk. We are still here with Cookie Abamu of Mylk by Cookie. We're having a great conversation about her wonderful products, which are delicious, and she has agreed that we will be carrying them at Crunchy Boutique again, thankfully.
I did.
Yes.
She did. Yes. But we also we wanted to talk a little bit about breast issues with breastfeeding. We know that breastfeeding, particularly in the Black community, is really lagging behind
for many reasons.
So I want to talk about some of the reasons. I know that you've talked about the fact that you have a passion for making sure that Black women in particular really do breastfeed,
Right.
Which is a wonderful thing. That work obviously is very valuable. But what are some of the reasons that women are not breastfeeding?
I just think it's the beginning pain and the engorgement of that beginning process, like those first 2 weeks, that they're engorged. Your body is new now, so your body is going through a lot of changes anyway from giving birth. So just your nipples are going to be sore anyway if you breastfeed or don't breastfeed. They're still going to be sore. Your breast is going to get engorged if you breastfeed or don't. Those are the issues, like the pain that happens within those first 2 weeks. They don't. You can tell them it's going to get better, but they're not going to believe it. The other issue is hearing your friend, your cousin, your mom tell you you're not giving baby enough, and we talked about that. You are giving it's only like a little marble. That's how much baby needs. So that plays in your head. And pumping in the beginning, like pumping that first week, can like really mess with your head. Because you can pump and you're only getting an ounce. You can feed and baby is getting full. You're going to get a burp out of baby. So baby is full. If you don't, then put him on the next one and let's try that. Baby crying so much, and so I can't feed like this. Well, baby could be crying for different reasons. Other thing, issues that happen with breastfeeding,
just things that prevent women from breastfeeding. I know.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is family. It's one of the biggest things in those first 2 weeks of that pain. You're not. You can tell what. That's just like if right now if I get cut right now, I don't see that this is going to heal tomorrow. I just still see that this cut is right here. So I feel like that's what breastfeeding is like. Like, you can tell me the pain is going to ease up. I don't see that. I don't see it. So that's one reason why I just say take it day by day and see how it works. It's your body. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But my advice to you is to take it like day by day. Don't try to say I'm a breastfeed for 6 months. Don't do that, because then you're going to be upset when you can only breastfeed or something happening and you can only do it for 3 months. Then it's going to play in your head. So just do day by day, and don't listen to everybody. Quit listening to people. People would just tell you, oh, listen to me though. People would just tell you stuff like, girl, I knew, and they always know somebody, that baby was not getting enough and had to be in the hospital or what have you. Don't, girl, they didn't know nobody.
Right.
Right. What's their name?
Exactly.
Yeah. So don't believe that. Your body knows what to give your baby, and if any reason you cannot breastfeed, like, reach out to these wonderful people, and everybody reach out to me or DM me or whatever and see if you can get some donor milk or what have you. And then if you absolutely cannot, I still say try to go with some goat milk or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know that some of the a couple of things we talked about is, number one, it's a mindset you have to have before you have the baby. You can't have the baby and then say, oh, you know what, I think I'm gonna breastfeed.
Right.
You've got to have that mindset beforehand and psych your mind up for it and all of that. And you've said a number of times at what point I don't know what point you decided, or if you always knew you were going to breastfeed, but you said the first time somebody asked you about it was, at what point were you?
Well, the first time somebody in the medical field asked me about it, I think, well, it was early on in my pregnancy, and it was Makiba. When she told me I was having a boy,
Yay.
it was at that appointment that she said, are you going to breastfeed? And she let me know that they had a breastfeeding like support group kind of thing that would meet actually there.
Yeah.
But that was the first like medical professional that ever mentioned that to me.
And Makiba Waller was a guest on our show a couple weeks ago. She owns Ultraview Imaging, so she does sonograms and things like that. For those of you who don't know who Makiba is,
yeah. But like I said, that was she was the first medical professional to speak with me about that. My doctor didn't ask me or anything like that, but I did know pretty much as soon as I got pregnant, like I'm going to breastfeed, and then it just kind of kept getting reinforced, my decision, whether it was through Makiba, whether it was through, I took the Bradley Method classes, whether it was through that, it just kept getting reinforced, and more reasons were being presented as to why I should.
Right.
But what's interesting, though, is that initially Lauren said she was only going to breastfeed for how long?
I said 6 months. Because I said
don't put a time on
it.
it.
Because I said that once he starts getting teeth, I can't do this.
Right.
She said, no, what she said is, once I see some chompers, I'm done.
I
because I don't want him to bite me.
I said, you will not be biting me. And he bites me. So.
On the regular.
He's still?
On the regular.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He likes to... he's very playful, I'll say that. So, he's playing with her and all that, and he'll bite her.
Yeah.
So. He doesn't realize
to get a reaction.
Yeah.
She said he doesn't realize it, and Lauren's like, yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's a little comedian, but so like I said, I think it's probably just you have to know beforehand.
Right.
You can't. So I think for us as a people, that's a big responsibility that we have as a community.
Right.
Is making sure that we keep hammering the point home. That breastfeeding is really important, and you can do it.
Yeah, because in my shoes, there is one. She just had her baby, and she told me, "Nope, I'm not every day. Nope, every Thursday I would go. Nope, nope."
And what's her reason?
Nope, I'm not breastfeeding. She says she didn't and that's another thing. Everybody do have a reason. I'll talk about that too. And that's why. Kind of push it, you just kind of have to know. Anyway, so she told me she wasn't going to breastfeed. Nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get this baby some formula, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay. Soon as baby came out, what did baby do? Went straight to her breast. And she's been breastfeeding for the last, baby's 2 weeks now. So she's been breastfeeding ever since. But also dealing with those other issues. Sometimes when you were talking about issues, and sometimes with breastfeeding, it brings back some memories of something that happened in a childhood or something that happened in a past. So being a counselor also, you also have to have a connection with your client, or see why they're resisting breastfeeding. And with breastfeeding, you don't have to always breastfeed. You can pump if you have that issue where you don't want to be touched or something happened in the past and it triggers that, so you can pump and feed baby that way versus always the breast. You can also do bottle feeding also.
And do you still carry the Haka pump in your purse? I remember several months ago
Girl.
You had one in your purse.
Girl, no, I give them away. I gave them away. I had several and I just gave it.
Oh, okay.
I just gave it away because if I see somebody, I'll be like, well, they're like, oh my gosh, I have this pad. I'm like, girl, that pad is wasting some milk. You better put this Haka, put that Haka
that
on.
liquid gold.
Yes, like, I mean, I never wore a pad. I was like, if I felt it coming out, but then I had him at home with me also. But I understand working moms, like the Haka, I do. That was like, other than Mylk by Cookie, that is the best invention. Like, it is so amazing. Pop that thing on anywhere, and that milk just started coming out.
We always say the two things that we sell the most of at Crunchy Boutique is the amber necklace and the Haka pump.
Yeah.
Those are the two things we sell the most of by far.
Yeah. And then I saw something the other day that it was something that it doesn't catch it like the Haka, but it was like you put it on your breast and it just catch the flows of the milk. one of the moms had it. And
is it electric or something?
No,
or battery
it's
operated?
like almost like a pad, but it's silicone.
I think I've seen that.
And it
clear. And,
yeah,
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, it
but
doesn't
you,
catch a lot.
You put it in your bra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I also recently saw a celebrity that had, I guess, I don't know if it's battery operated or what, but it's a pump that you just put in your bra, and it's just pumping while you're walking around, going everywhere.
That's the new one. It's by.
It's very expensive.
Yeah,
I looked it up after I
Christy
saw that.
Tiggins had that.
Yeah, another Ray J's wife.
Oh,
she had one too.
Yeah, maybe she wants some cookies.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
We'll have to tell you about our assumptions about celebrities and what they'll do, but we'll do that offline.
But
don't bother. Let me just say that.
Well, yeah, it was crazy last night. I was like, I think I had another aha moment. I didn't even know how you don't know how many people you're reaching, but some celebrity, Neo's wife or somebody, was having some issues, and I kept getting these tags with Mylk by Cookie, and I was like, what is this? And so everybody was like telling her to try the cookie dough, and I was like,
how cool is that?
Girl, try
Did
it.
she order any? Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That's the story I was telling.
I mean, but I was just at least happy
cool.
to see that people are telling them to get it. It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, not taking anything away from local support, because our local folks have been great to us.
No, I do love them. Yeah,
our local folks have been great to us, but the internet has made it possible for us to have such a far-reaching community, and that is an awesome thing.
And that's my goal.
Yeah. That's really awesome. We experience that too, just people all over the world that reach out to us, and we're like, but you're having us send this to Australia, and you don't have any natural parenting stores there.
And so
what's going on?
That's where I'm trying to get to, because they're like, do you ship to England? And I'm like, girl,
yes, I do.
I don't. It's so expensive. I don't even know. With my bootleg, I would really have like, give me a year, give me 6 months. Maybe any investors out there that want to show me how to ship. Come on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's funny.
But that's crazy.
Huh. Okay. Well, believe it or not, we are nearing the end of our time together.
I know.
What? Hold up.
I know. Time. We say this every week. It's like robotic at this point.
Yeah.
It does go by really fast.
It goes by super fast. So,
because I was like, okay, 2 hours, son, we're gonna go. I got my swimsuit on. Y'all see? We're gonna go to the water park because we done drove out here.
Okay.
We'll make it a day, and I'll calm down.
Super mom.
Yeah,
Look at you.
and he was thinking 2 hours was gonna be a long time. It was not long at all.
It goes by. It goes by really fast.
Crazy.
So we are so happy that you joined us. We're so happy.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's been a blast. We want to definitely have you again. We'll have to talk more, but tell people how they can
read the email.
Yeah, now you can read the email. The emails, plural. It finally occurred to me when I finally sent you a message through Instagram.
Yeah,
and I got
that's
an
how
immediate
you
response.
gonna get me.
It's like, okay, that's what I should have done a long time ago. But anyway, thank you, though. You know we love you.
Yes, I love y'all.
But how can people find you on social media? Give all the ways that people can contact
you. So I am www.mylkbycookie.com.
And that's MYLK.
MYLK. And Mylk by Cookie on Instagram. I am not on Facebook that much because it's just so difficult to me. But the best way to reach me is on Instagram.
She is very active on Instagram, so that's the way. That's the place to follow her if you want to know what she's doing, where she is, and she's very active.
Yeah, and if you want to get a response from me, DM me, like seriously, because it bings through my phone or what have you, and if I'm not asleep or not doing something, I really do answer my DMs. So if you want to get a I thought you said
no, I was agreeing.
Oh, okay. If you do want to get a response from me, DM me. I am at the Dallas Farmers Market, inside the market.
We forgot to mention that.
Oh, I got something to say. I was so excited. I was so excited. So at the Dallas Farmers Market, y'all don't know how excited I was. At the Dallas Farmers Market, inside the market, there's a market called the Pavilion Market. So he sells my cookie dough. Guess what, guys? You can buy with food stamps.
Really?
I was so, like, I'm probably about to cry thinking about it for the simple fact because I want to reach everybody. And I know the dough is so expensive. And you know, I just want to reach those who cannot. Like, when you're on food stamp, use your food stamps wisely. I have been on food stamps, and my son is a whole vegan. He's always been a vegan, so it was always wisely used, you know. And I'm not just saying like, oh, I was on food. Yeah, I was on food stamps, and I used it so wisely. Like even if it was a time because I was sick and I couldn't nurse my son, I could get goat milk with my food stamps. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I was so excited that you could use your food stamps to get some cookie dough.
Okay.
Treat yourself, honey. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
So anyway, so yeah, Mylk by Cookie with a Y. Just Google it and I'll come up because it's trademarked now.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
All right.
So excited. Oh yeah, and you can get it at Crunchy Boutique.
Coming soon.
No. When is Black Breastfeeding Week? Yeah, you can get
August,
it then.
the
We'll
last week in
celebrate
August.
then.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll celebrate
Yes.
then.
Yes.
So you can get it the last week. You can get it from Laughing Willow, and you can get it at the Nest in Addison.
All right. So get your Mylk by Cookie.
Yeah. Oh, and you can ship. You can get it shipped if you just don't want
In
to
the
get
bootleg
out the house.
packaging.
In the bootleg, I'm warning you now. It's not a pretty sight.
But the cookie dough gets there frozen
Safe,
and
frozen and safe. Yes.
So that's all that
Yes,
matters.
that's
Doesn't
all.
have to be pretty.
And I only ship. So just let me plug this. I only ship the vegan cookie dough because I never want anything. I have two. I have regular and I have vegan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only ship vegan.
Okay.
And I'm pretty much about to just go
Which
all
is
the way
vegan.
vegan because I'm getting more sales out
That
of
makes
vegan.
sense. All right. Well, we want to remind you again that Birth Texas is a 501c3 nonprofit organization empowering expecting moms and birth workers through education and community events. Join them on July 21st at the Arlington Convention Center as they welcome Shafia Monroe for a fun-filled event on childbirth and parenting. Check out their Facebook group for more information or visit birthtexas.org to access their online guide of evidence-based birth providers and childbirth and parenting events throughout the Metroplex. Empower yourself with Birth Texas. Join Tarrant County Breastfeeding Coalition at the 7th Annual Family Expo and Big Latch On coming up on Saturday, August 4th at the Fort Worth Botanic Garden. This free event includes vendors and a silent auction featuring goodies and gifts for all ages, as well as the Big Latch On, a worldwide event where participants gather to breastfeed together and support and celebrate each other. The Family Expo is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with the Big Latch On happening at 10:30 a.m. For more information, visit tarrantbfcoalition.com. We also want to mention All in the Nest doulas. When it's time to grow your family, you only want the best in caregivers. All across the DFW area, families like yours are choosing All in the Nest doulas for support throughout the childbirth process. This mother and daughter team at All in the Nest doulas sets the highest standard in loving care. If you'd like to know more about the services offered by All in the Nest doulas, including their exciting new childbirth education classes and how they can help you before, during, and after your delivery, be sure to check out their website at allinthenestdoulas.com or on their Facebook page, All in the Nest Doulas. Lastly, remember Crunchy Boutique, the natural parenting store in Arlington, Texas, and online. You can find Crunchy Boutique on Instagram at crunchy_boutique, on Facebook at Crunchy Boutique TX, or visit the website at crunchyBoutique.net. Crunchy Boutique is your source for all things natural parenting. That's cloth diapers, baby carriers, breastfeeding supplies, breastfeeding support, and a whole lot more. Be sure to follow Crunchy Boutique on social media to keep up with the latest news. And remember that we have lots of events coming up in August. We have the Big Latch On coming up on August 4th, and we will have 3 events coming up for Black Breastfeeding Week during the last week in August. So be sure to check our social media page for information regarding that. Also, we want to thank all of our listeners and Facebook Live viewers. Be sure to catch us each and every Monday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Fishbowl Radio Network on fbrn.us in the green stream, or find us on our Facebook page, Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren Keema. If you'd like to continue today's conversation, please feel free to comment on the video on Facebook, and we will definitely respond. Now, keep in mind that our show will not air next week because we will be on vacation. So we will be back the following week on July 23rd, and we will welcome Jennifer Lyle and Savannah, her daughter, of Little Bean Naturals, as we discuss natural options for yourself, your children, and your household. It should be a great conversation. We love Little Bean. We carry several of their products in store, so you're going to love them too if you're natural-minded. They've got all kinds of great stuff to share with us.
Yes.
So we're
Like
looking
what?
forward to that.
What did the little blankets?
Little Bean. It's called, Little Bean Naturals.
She has products for pregnant moms.
Ooh.
She has
She does our elderberry syrup.
yeah, the
She
elderberry syrup.
Ooh,
She
my
also
mom needs some elderberry.
Yeah, she
yeah,
does.
and I'm sure she'll mention this when she comes in, but she also has products for couples.
Yeah.
Oh,
She mentions
So
that
she
all
has-
the time.
Yeah, she has
Darn.
everything.
We don't carry those, but she does have them. But anyway, they're a great mother-daughter team, and
Yeah.
we're partial to mother and daughter teams. We've got quite a few coming up
Yeah.
on future shows, so be sure to tune in. But again, we will not have a show next week because we'll be on vacation. But tune
Y'all
back
take
in.
a lot of vacations.
We don't. We haven't been on vacation in almost
In a year.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the show today, y'all. Thanks again, Cookie, and we will see
Thank
you on the
you for
23rd.
having
Thank you.
me.
All right,
Yay.
bye.
Bye-bye.